2 out of 3 companies don't trust their own marketing data. That's not me pulling a number out of thin air. A study in 2025 found that 67% of organizations looked at their dashboards and went, yeah, I don't really believe these numbers. And you probably already knew that, not because you read the study, because you felt it. You open up your Google Analytics and something looks off. The conversions don't match what your sales team told you. The traffic numbers seem weird. And you just close the tab and move on with your day. Sound familiar? Well, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I can tell you that feeling in your gut, not paranoia, your data probably is broken. And the price tag on that is bonkers. IBM put it at $3.1 trillion a year across US businesses. Trillion with a T. That's not a typo. Now look, I know this is a video about data. You're already thinking about what else is in your feed. Data is boring. I've accepted this fact about my life. But give me the next few minutes because I'm going to walk you through 10 questions. That's it. 10 questions that'll show you exactly where your data is broken and where to start fixing it first. Nobody ever gave you a starting point for this stuff. You've been looking at broken dashboards with no idea what's wrong or what to touch first. And that is what gets you. Not the bad data itself, but the overwhelm of not knowing where to begin. So let's fix that. And if this kind of thing is useful for you, marketing that makes sense without all the jargon, hit subscribe. That's what we do here at MeasureU. So here's the deal. I'm Jeff Sauer. I've spent 20 years in digital marketing. And for most of those years, I kept waiting for somebody, anybody, to create a framework for this. Like a clear, simple way to look at your data and go, okay, here's where the problem is. Nobody did. And I don't say that to sound dramatic. I mean it. 20 years of watching marketers stare at dashboards confused, and nobody built a damn checklist. No rubric, no starting line, nothing. So we built one. At MeasureU, we created what I'm calling the CLEAN Data Scorecard, and it's what should have existed ever since Google Analytics launched. Here's the thing you need to know about it. Clean data is not about perfection. That trips everybody up. They hear clean data and think, oh great, one more thing I'll never get right. No, it's about understanding. It's a process. You go through the steps, you make improvements, and your data gets more useful over time. 5 categories, 2 questions each, 10 questions total. That's the whole scorecard. And I'm going to walk you through every single one right now. The categories spell clean, which, yeah, I'm a little proud of that one. C is for collect, L is for label, E for enhance, A for assemble, and N for narrate. By the way, if you already want to take the quiz and find out your score, comment SCORE and we'll send you the link. But stick around because I'm about to tell you what the questions are actually asking. Let's get into the first one. C stands for collect, and this is the most fundamental one because if you're not collecting the right data in the first place, nothing else matters. It's like trying to bake a cake, but you forgot to buy eggs. Doesn't matter how good your oven is. So the 2 questions in this category are basically asking, do you know what's being tracked on your website right now? And is it actually working? Because here's what I see all the time. Somebody set up Google Analytics 3 years ago. Maybe it was you, maybe it was a contractor, maybe it was that one IT guy that left the company in 2022. And since then, nobody's checked. Tags break, tracking codes get removed when you redesign the site, stuff just stops working and nobody notices because nobody's looking. And then 6 months later, your boss asks, hey, how did that campaign do? And you pull up a report full of question marks. The worst part, most people don't even realize their collection is broken. They see numbers and assume everything's fine. Numbers are showing up. Must be working. Not necessarily. So, collect is your foundation. Are you gathering data? And is what you're gathering actually reliable? If you can't answer both of these confidently, everything built on top of that is shaky. And that brings us to L. L is for label. And this one is sneaky because it sounds boring, but it's where most of the arguments happen. Here's what I mean. You're in a meeting, and marketing says, we got 200 conversions last month. Sales goes, no you didn't, we only closed 40 deals. And then somebody from the executive team chimes in with a completely different number from a completely different report. Everyone's looking at each other like they're speaking different languages. And the problem isn't that anyone is lying. The problem is that nobody sat down and agreed on what a conversion even means. Is it a form fill, a phone call, a book demo, a closed deal, a qualified lead? Because if marketing is counting form fills and sales is counting signed contracts, you're going to get wildly different numbers and both sides think they're right. So that's the first thing Label is asking you to think about. Does your team have a clear, agreed upon list of what counts as a conversion? Like written down somewhere. Not vibes, not, oh yeah, we all know. Actually documented. The second piece is naming. And I know UTM parameters are not sexy. Nobody has ever gotten excited about UTM parameters at a dinner party. But if one person in your team tags a campaign Summer Sale 2025, another person tags the same campaign 2025 underscore summer underscore promo, and the third person doesn't tag it at all, your reports are garbage. Full stop. You can't answer which campaign drove the most revenue if everybody's labeling stuff differently. It's like having a filing cabinet where half the folders are alphabetical, a quarter are by date, and the rest are just shoved in randomly. Good luck finding anything. Consistent naming conventions, same format every time, everyone on the team. It sounds so basic, but I promise you, maybe 1 in 5 companies that I've worked with actually do this well. All right, E is next, and this is where it gets a little bit more technical, but stick with me because this one's costing you real money right now. All right, E stands for enhance. And I told you this one is costing you money, so let me explain why. Quick question before you go further. Drop a comment and tell me which letter you already know you're failing at. Or if you want to skip ahead and find your actual score, comment score and we'll send you the quiz. I look at all the answers and honestly, it helps me figure out what to make videos about next. So don't be shy. Okay, enhance. This category is about making sure your platforms can actually see what's happening on your website. And right now, for a lot of you, they can't. Or at least not as well as they used to. Here's the deal. You're running Google ads or Meta ads or whatever. You're spending money, and those platforms need to know when somebody clicks on your ad and then does something valuable. Buys something, fills out a form, books a call. That connection between clicked an ad and became a customer is conversion tracking. And specifically, what matters now is first-party conversion tracking. Why first party? Because the old way, where ad platforms just drop cookies on everybody and track them across the internet, that's dying. It's mostly dead already. Browsers are blocking it, privacy laws are killing it. Apple threw a grenade into it a few years ago. So if you haven't switched to first-party tracking, your ad platforms are flying blind. They can't see which clicks turned into customers, which means they can't optimize, which means you're paying more for worse results, and you might not even realize it. I've seen companies waste 30, 40% of their ad spend because of this, and they had no idea. They just thought ads are getting more expensive and they accepted it. No, your tracking was broken. The second piece is cookie consent. Short version is, when people decline your cookie banner, they disappear from your data. Could be 30 to 60% of your traffic is gone. Now there's a way to recover most of that, and the quiz will tell you if you have it set up. If you're running ads in 2026 and you haven't nailed both of these, you are making decisions based on incomplete information, and incomplete information leads to bad decisions. That's not opinion, that's math. Okay, deep breath. The technical stuff is over. A is next, and it's the one that'll make you go, oh yeah, I should probably do that. A is for assemble, and honestly, this might be the most relatable one on the list. Here's the question. When your boss or client asks, how's marketing doing? Where do you go? Because for most people, the answer is everywhere. You log into Google Analytics, then you check Meta Ads Manager, then you go to Google Ads, maybe pull up HubSpot, maybe check Shopify, maybe dig through a spreadsheet somebody made 4 months ago that's already out of date, and by the time you've got all those tabs open, you forgot what you were looking for in the first place. That's an assembly problem. Assemble is asking you 2 things. 1, do you have a single place where you can look at your marketing performance and get the big picture? Not 5 places, but 1. And 2, can you see what you spent and what you got back across all your channels in that one place, like costs from Google and Meta and whatever else, sitting next to the conversions they drove? Because if you can't see spend and results side by side, you're guessing. You might be dumping money into a channel that stopped working 2 months ago, and you wouldn't know because the data lives in 6 different tabs. This doesn't have to be complicated. It could be a dashboard, it could be a report. I don't care what it looks like. It needs to exist. One place, cost and results together. That's it. That's assemble. N is the last one, and it's the one that separates people who have data from people who actually use it. Last one, N. N is for narrate, and this is where the whole thing either pays off or falls apart. Because you can collect the data, label it properly, enhance your tracking, assemble it into one place, and still get nothing out of it. How? By never actually doing anything with what you're looking at. And I see this all the time. Someone builds a beautiful dashboard, charts, graphs, colors, the whole thing. It looks amazing, and then every Monday the team opens it up, stares at it for 10 minutes and goes, okay, and closes the tab. Nothing changes, no decisions get made. The dashboard is basically a screensaver at that point. Narrate is about the so what. When you look at your reports, do they lead to an actual next step? Not interesting, a decision. We're going to shift budget here. We're going to pause that campaign. We're going to double down on this channel because the numbers say so. And when something looks wrong, when a number drops or a campaign tanks, can you figure out why and what to do about it? Or do you just stare at the red arrow pointing down and go, well, that sucks? Because data without a story is a spreadsheet. Data with a story is a strategy. That's Narrate. And that's the whole scorecard. CLEAN. So that's the Clean Data Scorecard. 10 questions across 5 categories. And if you're sitting there right now thinking, I don't know how I'd score on most of these, good. That's the whole point. Because most marketers have never stopped to audit this stuff. They just keep running campaigns and pulling reports and hoping the numbers mean something. And then they wonder why their marketing feels like guesswork. It's not because you're bad at marketing. It's because nobody gave you a way to check whether your foundation was solid before you started building on top of it. Now, here's what I want you to do. We turn this scorecard into a free quiz. It takes about 2 minutes. You answer the 10 questions, and at the end, you get a score plus a breakdown of exactly where your gaps are. Not vague, you should improve your data advice. Specific, like your labeling is strong, but your assembly is a mess, and here's what to do to fix it first. To get the link, drop a comment with the word score, and we'll send it to you. Then, once you've taken it, reply back with your number. I want to see where everybody lands. And here's the thing. I didn't mention earlier, your score isn't pass or fail. Nobody gets a perfect 10. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies who would score 5 on this thing. So, don't be embarrassed. Honestly, lower scores are more useful because they show you exactly where to focus instead of trying to fix everything at once. Remember to comment score, and I'll see you in the next one.